Hey all you YouTubers, welcome to channel Tournage Dubois. I'm Daniel Dubois, also known as Double D. I decided I wanted to chronicle my journey as I learn woodcraft, woodworking, and epoxy, and I wanted to invite you to share on my journey to see the progress that I make. Hopefully we can all work and learn together, so feel free to leave comments, post feedback, and like and subscribe my videos if this is something that interests you. I appreciate your time, and I hope that you enjoy the ride. I'm just going to take some time and talk through some of the different tools that I have as I start this process. First thing I have is my lathe. It's a 10-inch by 18-inch mini woodworking benchtop lathe from Harbor Freight, made by Central Machinery. It has worked out really well for me so far. One of the things I'm not a huge fan of is manually changing gears as you go from side to side. So if you want to do different speeds, then it's a matter of turning it off, updating, moving the motor a little bit to where you can change the belt. Not a huge issue, but it is one thing that I'm looking forward to upgrading at some point in the future as I get better at this. One thing I bought was this chuck. This chuck has come in great as I'm learning to do mortises and tenons. This allows me to, of course, not have to have things bolted in or screwed in, and allows me to turn things like bowls, vases, cups, things like that as I grow. Another thing I was lucky enough to have is a dad who had 2 tailstock chucks for me to use bits with to bore things out. So I use some Forstner bits, and that allows me to do boring out, which helps out with bowls, cups, things such as that as well. Overall, this is a really good lathe. It's been great for me to start with, to learn how to begin to turn and to start my journey as a wood turner. One of the other things about this lathe that I'm not a huge fan of is this tool rest. So this tool rest is very short, as you can see. It's approximately 6 inches long, maybe a little bit longer. There's not a lot of movement availability to it. Of course, I mean, you can loosen it, you can raise it, lower it, twist it around a little bit. You can loosen this part and be able to move it around. So that's nice, but you don't have a lot of angles and things like that that you might need as you're moving to do bowls, vases, things like that. So I bought this kit off of Amazon just the other day. I have to getting ready to try it out. But it's some bowl turner set for tool rests. So they all come individually wrapped. I'm super excited to give these a try. So let's just see how it looks when we pop it in here. So just take the old tool rest out, and we'll open up one of these real quick. So we just set this right down into place. And then we can tighten it up, going the wrong way. So this would allow for us to get in different angles and things like that. I'm not sure about the other angle. There's not really one that goes the other direction, which would allow us to come in from this side into the bowl. So I'll have to do some figuring out to see what I can do about getting closer in. That is already able to get a lot closer than what I could do with the other tool rest that came with it. So that's already a big improvement. But I am excited to give these a try, and I'll definitely let you guys know what I think as I move forward with this. These are my first set of tools that I bought. Also bought them at Harbor Freight. Great, they're pretty cheap, but they work really well, at least at learning how to do different things and practicing doing different cuts. They are steel, so they're going to wear down after a while, and you'll have to keep sharpening them throughout. But they have been good, at least to get me started. One thing I ran into is it was hard to rough things in with some of these tools, so I did go ahead and buy a bigger roughing gouge, which has helped out quite immensely with my being able to cut things out to get them into round as quickly as possible to make things faster. So this one has come in really well, or really handy, and has been greatly appreciated with speeding things up. Another item I bought from Woodcraft is this professional quality saw. It's been really good at cutting things down as I get closer, as I'm cutting them in to remove them from my lathe. So that's been very amazing as well. Another tool which is great to start with is the center finder. So it works out pretty well as you're looking to find the center of something. You would just be able to put it on and get the grooves to line up, catch on the edges. This isn't a very good piece, of course, but then you can just mark the line and then rotate it, track it in, mark the line again. That's going to find you the center of an object. So that's been very helpful as well. After having started with these tools, I then upgraded. So I went to Woodcraft in Kansas City, since I'm a native of Kansas, the Midwest. And I got these carbide tip tools. So the carbide tip tools, which I got just last weekend, have come in super handy. They work really, really well, and the learning curve on these is much faster to help make some significant leaps in my own turning process. So I got these 3 tools. They were on sale at Woodcraft just last weekend. Normally they're $90. They were marked down to $75 because of the sale that they were running. And these have made leaps and bounds in my learning, as I indicated before. So with the old tools, you have to hold them at the right angle. So it's a matter of learning what angle to hold them at to get the best cuts. Each one of the tools has an angled part to it. So you have to hold it at the right angle to get it to cut properly. Each one's a little bit different. And then, like I indicated before, you also have to sharpen it. So as you can tell, I've done a little bit of sharpening. I did some hand sharpening at first because that's all I had. Then I upgraded to a little bit of a small grinder, which has helped out as well with keeping these sharper as I use them. So that works well. But with these tools, rather than having to find a specific angle, all you have to do is hold it at a 90-degree angle to the wood. So you're going to keep it just right about the center of the wood as it's turning. At least this is what I have found works best for me. Keep it just about the center of the wood where it's turning and keep it parallel to the floor. So it's just a straight-in cut, and it just works amazingly well. I find these much easier to control, and it definitely has made a monstrous difference in the quality of the work that I have seen myself be able to do. Here's another item I bought off of Amazon, which has come in very handy as I'm learning how to sand things on the lathe as I work on them. So this came in this nice box. It's approximately 120 to 150 sheets of sandpaper, starting at 60 grit, transitioning up in increments, of course, 80, 120, 150, etc. And it goes all the way up to 3,000 grit on the sandpaper. So this is really, really good at getting things super smooth, which has been helpful as I've transitioned from turning softwood like pine, 2x2s, 4x4s, etc. So I didn't want to spend very much money as I was starting out, but this helped out. So it makes an immense difference in the quality of how things sand out, and I'm excited to see as I learn additional items as I go from here to see where this journey takes me. So I started off using sandpaper only on my projects as I was working on them. And watching a lot of other videos and channels and things like that, which there's some amazing people out there that do some phenomenal work. I noticed that a lot of them use Axe abrasive sanding paste and then Axe polish restoring paste. So I got myself a set, I ordered it in, came in, and I have to say that this was absolutely amazing with how it applied, how easy it was to use, as well as the quality of work that I was able to get out of it as compared to using just sandpaper by itself. My next video, I will be showing some of the work that I've done and the progress that I've made in the items that I have turned. I haven't been turning for very long. Approximately 8 to 10 months is about all the time I've really turned, but I haven't spent a lot of time on it, so I've only done about 8 or 9 items. So I'll chronicle those so you can see what quality changes I've done in that small amount of time that I've worked on, just to let you know that you all can do it too if you choose to learn how to turn wood as you start your own journey. If this is something that interests you, I'm always learning new things, watching the channels, learning how other people do things, learning techniques, and then trying them myself. And it's been amazing to see the journey and how things have changed and transpired as I've gone from item to item. Sorry for the mess, but I am working out of my garage. Hopefully in the next few months I'll be able to build myself a small workshop as well as a storage shed for some of the other items that we have. This is a bandsaw that I got at an estate sale just about a couple of weeks ago. It actually is, I got it home, cleaned it up a little bit, works great, and it's exactly the same bandsaw that my father has. So that was kind of interesting to be able to utilize something that I'm somewhat familiar with in seeing him work on things as well. But it was in great working condition and has become just done a great job so far for what I've needed it to do. I am in the process of building myself a sled for it to help make some better cuts, and as we go through that, then hopefully we'll see some additional quality changes as well. So once again, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate your time. If you like the video, please like it, subscribe, follow me along, and we will go on this journey together. Hopefully we can learn from each other, so feel free to comment, feel free to provide feedback. Hopefully you can learn maybe something from me if you're just starting out as well. Together we will grow and enjoy this woodworking journey. Happy turning.